How deep do your prospective clients have to go to find you on the web? When they do find you, what do they find?
SEO.
Internet marketing strategies,
Bounce rates,
website performance,
cost per click,
and social media.
conversion rates.
This is Edge of the Web with Aaron Sparks.
Good morning. This is Edge of the Web Radio with Aaron Sparks and John Thompson from Site Strategic. Say hi, John.
Hey, good morning, Indianapolis.
Good morning. Hey, you know what? If you haven't joined us before, we want to tell you a little bit about this show. We do this every other Saturday. This is a show talking about internet marketing for small, medium-sized, and large businesses, and we cover ideas of social media management, search engine marketing, where it comes from PPC, Google AdWords, and the like. But more especially search engine optimization. How to get your website to the top of Google's organic ranking, because we know that you're not looking for businesses in the yellow pages anymore. People are looking for your company on the web. They're typing in search strings, or typing in, where can I find this particular service, right in the comfort of their own home, on search engines on their computer, and whoever comes up at that top of the list is really the companies that they're paying attention to and interacting with. We're covering a lot of different things that help you get that particular mark on organic visibility. But we're developing a show here that have been for a while that gives you good information, techniques, and concepts that aren't just boiled in tech speak and geek babble, and although I could truly go into that for a long period of time, we all know that. But it's a program where we can actually give some good 5,000-foot view concepts that if you have a webmaster in your own business, or you have a freelancer, or a firm that actually manages your website, bringing these concepts to them is essential. You need to know what is out there for your business, because a lot of times these consulting companies won't bring something to your attention, because if they don't have skill sets in house to be able to provide those to their businesses, they won't mention them, or they won't show that up in front of you. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is Edge of the Web Radio. This is provided by Site Strategics. We're an Indianapolis-based social media search engine optimization and web design firm. We are actually going to be doing something, got some news at the end of the show here that we're going to be laying on you. But why we do this is we want to make sure that people, business owners, have a knowledge of what to do for their website, because it's essential. It's an asset that's out there for the marketplace. It's if you don't pay attention to the traffic that's coming into your website and know where you rank, you're missing the boat. You're a piece of cyber driftwood. What do you think about that, John?
I think you're right. I think on the other side of the coin there, instead of the IT departments as well, we deal with a lot of small business owners who just don't even know how to get into the market. And so it's I don't want to say it's hand-holding, but in the way we learn their industry and they learn ours. So we want to welcome any small business owners that, even if they don't even know how to take the first step, we'll walk them through the process.
We kind of use a number of analogies, but if you're sitting on the edge of that pool and you want to dive in and you don't know where you're going, we help in that perspective. We actually give a free consultation with businesses who want to just sit down and kind of inventory what they've got.
Right.
You can actually reach us throughout the week at 877-SEO for web, or the local number 317-882-8500. You can actually call us during the show today at local number is 317-228-1430. If you have any questions about what we're talking about through the program, give us a shout. We'll love to hear from you. You can also call us on the toll-free number at 1-866-440-1430. So we want to cover what we did last show to get you up to speed. I'll tell you what we are doing on a regular basis, just so you know, is this radio show is not where this stops. We're actually podcasting this show every week, every other weekend. We're sending out, putting that on the podcast at edgeofthewebradio.com. We literally have about 2 hours after the show. That also goes on to iTunes, so you can search Edge of the Web Radio. My name, Aaron Sparks, E-R-I-N Sparks, Site Strategics. You'll find all the shows that we've been doing over the year. You can also find us on YouTube. And what's useful about YouTube is we're recording video on every one of these shows, but we're also doing something else. We're also breaking it out into smaller, palatable segments. And we're also peppering the video with a lot of good screen captures of things that we're talking about on the radio show. I mean, the visual itself it really comes across a lot better. So a lot of the times that we're talking about certain aspects of the different services that we're talking about, or even news that we're talking about, seeing what we're talking about is essential as well. So check us out. You can find us on youtube.com/site strategics. You'll be able to find that. All right. What did we do last show, John?
Well, last week we interviewed Douglas Carr. He is the CEO of DK New Media, and I thought it was a great conversation. He had some great info about infographics. We covered it, and if you missed the last show, like Aaron said, you can dial in through podcast or the YouTube videos. Just kind of talking a brief overview of what infographics were. We did have some commenters say, well, we didn't really get a grasp. It's hard to get a grasp of what infographics are over the radio. So check them out. Google infographics. Do some research if you're interested. But it's a great marketing tool to take a lot of data and make it into a nice visual that is appealing and actually helps build web traffic if you use it correctly.
That's right. He's a great guy too, and we really appreciate him coming out. And I wouldn't doubt that we might want to have him back on the show at a later date. He's a wealth of knowledge, and his blog is really a great place to actually check out stuff. That's marketingtechblog.com. Check that out. We also talked about local search. Part of our segment, or one of our segments last show, was talking about how to build local search relevancy. It's not just typing in a search phrase. You almost usually, just the same reference I was talking about Yellow Pages, is you're almost always going to put a city or a state or a zip code tied to some professional services, and we give you some great tips on how to build links that help create that additional local value that the engines are so focused on right now. Well, I want to tell you what's coming up in the show. Real quick, we regularly go through marketing news, right? And we're also talking about this show. We've been regularly talking about what the search engines are doing, and we're paying attention to changes in the search engines, and there's an update coming up again from Google, and we wanted to talk to you about that and how to protect yourself, how to batten down the hatches, so to speak, as well as another segment about 5 things to know when you're actually hiring an SEO consultant. And we also always throw in a cool tool at the end of every show just to give you some neat things to focus on, to use to point towards your website and get some good data, right? The news items that we wanted to cover today were, there's a few of them, there's actually a bunch of them, but we wanted to kind of focus especially on a key couple of things here. On Search Engine Roundtable, and we go to a number of different news sources for search engine news, and Search Engine Roundtable is always good and very active in understanding what's happening.
And it's a blog.
It's a blog, yeah. Absolutely. And they're very active in all the different conferences that are going on across the country, and they're paying attention to get their ear to the rail of what's happening in search engine world. They actually noticed, Barry Schwartz is one of the founders of Search Engine Roundtable. He actually posted up something just recently that was interesting. Google ranking shuffle on August 16th. Now, this is some inside baseball, but the fact of the matter is, your ranks are fluid. Your ranks are constantly changing for your website. You need to know that. Obviously, you need to know where you're ranking. But if you start paying attention to the different changes that are happening on Google, you'll start finding sometimes a dip in your ranks. And if you're in a SEO consultancy firm like we are, we'll see collectively all of our sites start to change based on different incidents throughout time periods. So whenever Google actually changes something in their algorithm, which is their measurement of how to rank at one site as opposed to another, all of a sudden we'll see a shift happening. And whenever you're seeing that type of collective shift, your spider sense starts to go off and says, "Oh, something's happening." Are they actually testing out a new algorithm? There are many signals in different webmaster forums that show that there was a possible significant Google ranking shuffle yesterday morning, and I'm sorry, the 16th, and throughout the 16th. Now, this might be a Google testing a new algorithm or testing an update to the algorithm. There's a what we're talking about in the next segment is going to be a number of different updates, and just giving a chronology of events that have happened recently, but. It may be a large number of individual sites that have received manual penalties from Google. Everything's kind of in flux right now. Do you get a sense of that, John?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, we're looking at this, and we're looking out for our clients, and we're looking at this in a very micro way. They might not see it.
Did you say microwave?
Microwave.
Oh, okay.
Microwave. But yeah, I do. I sense that. I do sense that there's a little bit of, in our industry, that we're very sensitive, because after Penguin and Panda, we had a few clients that just got thrown off the maps, and now we're really sensitive, and we're just checking on Google on what's the latest thing they might behave like, because we got to. And
you know, you're testing out new waters. You're testing out if Google's giving you a penalty. Do you even know that if you're getting a penalty? And one of the things why I mentioned this story is, if you're a website owner, it behooves you to know where you're ranking. You must know. I mean, literally, those are assets that you have, because somebody's searching a particular phrase, they see your site, they come in on an operant phrase that's pinpointing to your service.
Right.
If your rank 8 just dropped to 16, you better guarantee that's a loss of business opportunity right there.
Right, and then the whole beauty of our industry is you can't just monitor that and say, oh, well, that was Google's update.
Right.
That could have been your content. That could have been because you had copywritten content. That could have been because your social was upped or lowered.
Exactly. So, I mean, you have to pay attention to those different factors. I mean, the engines are paying attention to a heck of a lot of things. There are over 200 different factors that search engines are actually paying attention to. Now, if I had a full knowledge of all 200 factors, I'd be a very rich man right now.
Yeah.
But Google doesn't share that with anybody. And so part of this entire process is actually doing an inductive reasoning of actually seeing these different sites, how they behave, what similarities they have, what differences they have. You have to look at your competitors and see what's going on. Obviously, that takes a little bit of work and time, but we actually at Site Strategics have those tools to actually canvas the entire environment and be able to give and boil that down for almost like an executive review of your assets. I mean, you almost want to think of it as like an investment portfolio. If you've got those pieces out there, you need to protect them. And if there's a penalty happening, and if you don't know that you've dropped, I mean, there's the silent sound of just no business coming in, right? So,
and you're right. Ranking reports are definitely need to look at, and we try to provide it to where it's just kind of your oil's low or your gas is low. Just kind of some basic stuff that you got to keep an eye on to keep that engine going.
You got to watch the gauges.
Yeah.
Our next news story is pretty cool, actually. John, take it away.
Yeah, the next news story is about Google Plus vanity URLs. So Google has created their social media profiles, and they've just kind of, for whatever reasons, a bunch of numbers after the end of it. It's not like a Facebook URL where you do facebook.com/your business name. It just makes it hard to find your business.
Facebook.com/Site Strategics, by the way.
There you go. Yeah. It just makes it hard for a person to find your profile. I think they're finally coming around to realizing that they have to give in to what people want. They can't just muscle around all the time.
It's really wild that they didn't do this earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, literally the URLs for Facebook pages are like, what is it, googleplus.com/190000211/post, and that's your company ID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just have to make sure you've got the link on your website, because nobody in their right mind is going to search for that.
Right.
So they're finally rolling that out. They're getting savvy to this, and I think on top of it, that's really one of the barriers for people really getting involved with Google from a company basis. I mean, Google Plus has been a factor in search engine optimization. It's Google's game, and we know it. As soon as we actually light up somebody's Google Plus page, and it's a free service, a free of charge service from Google, all of a sudden, guess what? Some new ranks appear. Yeah. Or if you're dipping in ranks, having a Google Plus page actually has that additional factor of retaining some of those positions.
And I don't mean to get into the history of this, but this all started a few years ago when Facebook, Google's politely, can I look behind the veil?
Right.
Can I see your users and what they're sharing? And Facebook says, nope.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I guess we're going to open up our own social media then.
Hey, it's their sandbox. You got to play in their sandbox,
Yep.
and they're actually making it a little bit more appealing. When Facebook launched its vanity URLs back in 2009, it created somewhat of a land rush as its users hustled to get their URL of choice. And Facebook, too, first allowed a few select brands and celebrities to claim their custom URLs a few months ahead of everybody else. So that's what Google's doing right now. They're letting a few, like Britney Spears, Delta Airlines, Toyota, the brands that are out there, they're allowing those custom URLs to start happening.
Right.
We don't know when the mass is actually going to get that kind of customization, but it's on its way. This is an interesting story coming up. This is actually some deep diving from a marketing standpoint as well as a privacy standpoint. This is an interesting article. John, tell me about this one.
It's Facebook's fix for its ad woes. Few likes, more user data.
Yep.
So that's from the Atlantic Wire. And it's, we've talked about this on previous shows before. Facebook is at an adolescent stage, on their advertising. Their stocks slumped. They're trying to figure out how to get this monetized without alienating their user base.
So tell me about ads and what have changed on Facebook ads. Obviously, Facebook is running company ads for a while. What's changed now? Or what's about to change?
Facebook's big moneymaker of an idea involved getting advertisers to pay money for ads that would get their brands more likes, which would theoretically lead to more engagement and sales. However, advertisers now say that it isn't working for them. And granted, that they've been saying that for a while.
Yeah.
Advertisers have told the social network that what Facebook has to give them or has given them doesn't provide enough information to track their ads. And the companies don't like that the social network doesn't let them see wall conversations. So that's that garden wall that I was talking about. But
getting more and more, they want to have personal data so they can actually direct their ads. Facebook gives you demographic information. We can direct an ad to anybody that likes a particular TV show, likes a particular topic, is within this particular age group, within this number of different factors. The fact of the matter is that's as far as they go, and the advertisers are wanting more. The ad, and there are two different types of ads you can have. You have an ad that goes straight over to your website or whatever landing page you want, but also they were pushing this like button, so you could actually get more views and more thumbs up on a particular Facebook page. Well, the advertisers,
what does that mean?
Oh, how do I look at that as a return on investment? You got a bunch of Fonzies around there with their thumbs up. Right. Now, did I just date myself there? I think I did. The fact of the matter is that Facebook, if they're going to be a realistic advertising engine, has to provide a clear line of sight to a transaction, to a return on investment. So, because Facebook's holding all the cards for users' information, and their stock is dwindling terribly, they're going to be pivoting here. I mean, they've always proclaimed that they were focused on customers' privacy above all things, but they've changed their privacy policy 9 times in the last year and a half. So, if anything's on the chopping block, it's going to be, well, we can give a little bit of information about our users. Maybe not all the personal information, but what they're talking about. So what they're going to be offering up is like how many times your brand is actually being talked about, as opposed to people liking it, people actually chatting about Coke and chatting about what they don't like about Coke or Coke versus Pepsi. So all of a sudden, they're going to open up that door. That's a Pandora's box right there, because, so whatever grade people are talking or are communicating, all of a sudden, if they see they're being spied on by the advertisers and they see the direct ad landing in their bucket, because I just talked about Coke twice in the last week, and all of a sudden I got a Coke ad, or more importantly, I got a Pepsi ad, right? All of a sudden, I've got no privacy, and people are going to leave. They're going to take themselves off the grid. They really are from Facebook, and I really think that would be a bad move for them to do.
Our last show, Doug even talked about having branding purposes. They run ads on Facebook. There are definitely pros to Facebook. I'm not a big believer in Facebook. I don't think that they're going to last very long if they keep up the way they are, because they're just trying to find a fine line. Biggest thing is the walled garden. They don't let users lock their data down, and that's what you want. And people are like, I think people are devaluing the time they get sucked into Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Pardon me. I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break real quick. This is News Talk 1430 WXNT. On the other side of the coin, we're going to be talking about more Google updates to come. Talk to you real soon.